Hey guys, it's Samuel and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the new hit Netflix series called Love is Blind. I'm going to be talking about the 6 main couples and their journey on the show from start to finish. I'm going to be talking about Diamond and Carlton, Gigi and Damien, Amber and Barnett, Jessica and Mark, Lauren and Cameron, and Kenny and Kelly. So if that's what you're in for, then stay tuned because we're going to be getting into all of it. The first couple I'm going to be talking about are Gigi and Damien. Somebody on Twitter said that Gigi learned how to speak English by watching films, and it shows. And it most definitely shows, because right from the get-go, like, I knew that Gigi was a little bit offbeat, a little bit off-center. Like, from the proposal, like, Damien was trying to get down on one knee and propose to her, like, you know, most, like, any girl would want. And Gigi decided to turn the situation on its head and end up proposing to him. And I didn't like that. To me, she turned what was supposed to be a really genuine, intimate moment between them, and she just turned it into like this dramatic farce. And that was a real recurring theme between Gigi and Damien throughout the show, where Gigi would just kind of lash out at Damien for simply breathing. And it's like a golden moment on the show was when she didn't even say this to his face, she said it behind the wall. When she was like, "Have you ever noticed that when you say this is the best sex of your life, I never returned a compliment?"
Nah, fuck this, I'm out of here. Get that fire exit door, I'm off.
If I were Damien, I would have 100% called the police right there and then, because that has to be grounds for some kind of assault, because she did not have to do that. So when it came to their wedding day and Damien looked at Gigi square in the face and said, "I don't," that is what you love to see. I almost jumped up and started speaking in tongues.
You serious? You bitch! You a bitch! You bitch! You bitch! Let it go! Let it go! Let go of it! Let go of it! Let go of it! You motherfucker! I'm the one I do for you! You bitch! Yes!
She was a horrible communicator throughout the show, so she did not deserve to be married that day. And to see her run off in her wedding dress, crying and stuff, I mean, call me horrible, but yes, I felt very satisfied. So when we saw the reunion and they revealed that they were actually dating and seeing, are you fucking serious?
One eternity later.
So when it came to the reunion and they opened up that they were dating, I was a little bit on edge because it's like, I don't know, I was a bit unsure, but I did see a different side to Gigi. I definitely feel like she's done the work on her part to improve on her flaws that we saw in the main bulk of the series. Especially when like Damien was talking to Lauren about their connection, the experience they had dating each other. I was expecting Gigi to like pop off or like, you know, roll her eyes or something, but she was very calm, she was very graceful, very composed. You know, I really like to see that from her. So I don't know if their relationship is necessarily going to end in a, you know, a long-lasting marriage, but I definitely feel like it's going to be, they're going to give it a better go this time around. Yeah. The next couple I'm going to be talking about is Kenny and Kelly. For the most part, Kenny and Kelly were a pretty boring couple, but like boring in a good way, like, because they were taking, it seemed like they were taking every box. You know, they were attracted to each other emotionally, physically, their families gelled together really well. So I thought they were on the fast track to being happily married. So when it came to the issue of sex, it was like, I think it was either Kenny or Kelly opened up like, "Oh, we've done everything else under the sun, but we haven't had sex yet." I was quite surprised. Like, I didn't know if it was maybe a religious thing. Like, if you've done everything else under the sun, I don't really think the big guy in the sky cares at that point. But then Kelly did open up and say that the reason why she was so hesitant to have sex with Kenny is because in the past, you know, she's had problems like orgasming with, you know, partners and stuff. And I really felt for her in that moment, because one of the craziest things I realized growing up is that women don't always like orgasm when they're having sex with their male partners. And it's like, they need to start being honest with these men, because that's why you have a lot of these guys walking around with their chests out thinking that they invented sex. And you know, you can't put the blame 100% on them because they can't fix what they're not aware of. So I think it is a woman's job to like be open and honest with her partner about, you know, how she feels about things. Like, I'm a believer in that you can say anything you want, it just matters how you say it. And like, what you say around it. Because of course there's some things that no matter how you say it, like it's gonna hurt. Like no one wants to hear their partner say, oh, I've been unsatisfied with the sex we're having. Like that's not something anybody wants to hear. But I feel like I said, like what you say around it can help soften the blow. Like if you sit your partner down and say, hey, you know, I've been unhappy with the sex we're having, you know, but I care enough about you and our relationship to address the problem and try and fix it. Like this is, you know, you tell them like this is what would make me happy, and then you finish it off with be like, is there anything I can do to please you more? And you just have that open, honest dialogue. And I felt like that was the conversation Kenny and Kelly needed to have to, you know, end up being a happily married couple. So when it came to right up to like the wedding and it was their bachelorette party, and Kelly was talking to her girls, and she said that she wasn't infatuated with Kenny. I was like, are we watching the same show? Like, what is going on? Because in my eyes, she was nothing but infatuated with Kenny right from day one. So for her to say that, it felt really out of pocket. And of course, on the wedding day, we saw her say, I don't to Kenny. And the way that she just left him alone on the altar to face not only his own friends and family, but her friends and family, I did not like that. Because Kenny, he didn't deserve that. He was nothing but good to her throughout the show, and he deserved better than that. And obviously in reunion, we heard that Kelly had a failed relationship dating her best friend. But my King Kenny, he said he's never been happier, and you know, he's in a thriving relationship, and I love to hear it. You know, he's thriving, is living his best life, while Kelly is being Kelly. And I think it's so ironic that in her Instagram bio, she calls herself a relationship coach. And it's just like, the jokes write themselves. But you know what? I mean, again, it's a reality show. Like how much of the show is reality that we're watching on screen, and how much of it is just producers meddling. So I don't want to be too hard on anybody in this video, but yeah, Kelly, you're done, basically, you're done. Moving on, I'm going to be talking about Amber and Barnett. And the thing for me with Amber and Barnett's relationship is that I never really saw like a love between them. Like I never really saw a depth to them the way I saw with, you know, other couples. It always felt like it was just lust. Like it was just like this crazy, like, you know, I'm obsessed with you type of thing, especially on like Amber's part. And it was a bit similar to the way Mark saw Jessica, in that sense of like, this is the best connection I'm ever gonna have. Like, you know, it's never gonna be better than this. Like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And it's like, you can't really have that mindset in a relationship. Like, of course, like it's good, you know, to like, exactly, how do I say this? Like, you definitely do want somebody who is gonna claim you in private as well as in public, and I feel like that's something Amber is very good for. But it was bordering onto like possessiveness, which is really, it's not a nice thing to see. But I feel like she always drew her line in the sand. It's like she'd only like fight bitches if they crossed that line, and we saw Jessica did cross that line. It was like she made it out to seem like she was happy with Mark, and she was gonna work out the kinks in the relationship and stuff like that. And yet, she was pulling Barnett aside to have these little like conversations. And then, to be honest, I feel like some of the blame has to be on Barnett, because yes, Jessica did initiate those conversations, but Barnett entertained them. Not just once, not just twice, but I think it was like 3 times or even more, where he would actually sit down and listen to what she has to say. And at no point did he, you know, come to Amber and let her know what was going on. Like, hey, you know, there's a blonde snake in the grass trying to come in between us, you know, look out. He never once, you know, said that. He never once addressed it. Now, of course, again, I don't know if it did happen and they just never showed it. And again, Amber seems to me, like she even said it on the show, like, you know, if I do something wrong, correct me in private, not in public. So I would assume if that's how she wants to be treated, then that's how she would treat Barnett. So maybe she did address it off camera, and we just never got to see it. But I hope she did give him a little bit of grief for that, because I feel like he most definitely deserved it. And yeah, like on the show, we did see them kind of just, be happy and have all this crazy fun like they always said. But I think the real hitch in the relationship when it came to like the talk of finances, like, when Amber opened up about how she was like $700 in debt over makeup and how she hadn't paid back any of her student loans, like she didn't even graduate, Barnett's face was just like face crack. And honestly, you can't blame him, because the way today's economy is set up, like, both people need to bring in an income, Long gone are the days where one person's like the breadwinner and the other person just kind of like takes care of the household and does, household chores and stuff like that. Because times are really changing. I remember before it was like as soon as you turn 18, pretty much, you move out, you get your own place, pay rent, pay mortgage, you get married, you have kids, and you do all of that. But now you see people living with their parents into their late 20s and getting married and having kids in their 30s, their 40s. And now you have some people who don't even want to get married at all. They don't even want to have children because those things are expensive. And it's very understandable why some people don't want those things. But again, I feel like Amber and Barnett are a couple where they take every day as it comes. And I mean, I don't feel like there's much I have to say about them. To me, they were kind of a boring couple in a sense. I mean, apart from like the drama between Amber and Jessica, I was kind of just like, didn't really care for them, but I wish them the best. It is what it is. But now let's talk about Jessica and Mark. Oh, Jessica, aka earthly agent of Satan, aka the devil's confidant. And I say that because she really took us for a ride this season. What really made me not like her was that she had the gall and she had the audacity to go running back to Mark knowing that she had said what she had said. And it's like, as much as Jessica did lead Mark on quite a bit, I feel like all the blame cannot be put on her because Mark did commit some sins of his own. Like the fact that when she came running back to him, he kind of just took her back he didn't make her like grovel. He just kind of took her back after nothing. And to me, like, no, I'm either your first choice or I'm not a choice at all. Like, I wasn't put on this earth to be like on somebody's sub bench, And I feel like Mark did lose a lot of his dignity in his time with Jessica. Ooh. I'm getting thirsty. But I feel like it's okay to chase somebody, but like don't lose your dignity in the process. To me, like, I don't ever feel the need to chase somebody. I am who I am. If you don't see the worth in me from the get-go, then you probably never will. But of course, if you're gonna chase somebody, like I said, don't lose your dignity in the process, because at the end of the day, that is not gonna guarantee that you're gonna get the guy or you're gonna get the girl. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather chase somebody, lose your dignity, and end up with no guy, no girl? Or would you rather chase the guy, chase the girl, and you may not end up with either of those things, but at least you have your dignity, at least you're able to leave the situation with your head held high, and I would much rather prefer the second option, personally. And yeah, but I do feel like as much as Jessica and Mark's relationship breakdown was kind of both their faults, Jessica really did take the cake, because at least when it came to the wedding and the I do's, like when Damien said I don't to Gigi and when Kelly said it to Kenny, to a degree it looked like it hurt, both people to say I don't. But for Jessica, like, she walked into that wedding with the biggest smile on her face just to say I don't. Demons walk among us. Demons really do walk among us. That was very unnerving to me. Like, she created this atmosphere that she was nervous but really excited, and it's like she made it seem like she was ready to say I do, and for her to just like not say it in the end despite that big smile on her face, yeah, it was very worrying. A lot of people were scared. So yeah, but definitely in the reunion, I wouldn't say I saw an improvement in Jessica the way I saw with Janina, but she did apologize, so there was definitely an acknowledgement acknowledgement. There was a sense of acknowledgement and awareness about her. And that is the most definitely the first step to improvement. You know, in order to improve, you need to acknowledge that things need to be improved. So for her to be able to do that, I do hope that both Jessica and Mark do find their happiness, even if it's not necessarily with each other. And yeah. So before we move on to the winners of the show, Lauren and Cameron, I'm going to talk a little bit about Diamond and Carlton, because they did bring up the really interesting debate of bisexual men dating straight women. So obviously, Carlton opened up about being bisexual on the show, and he was worried about how he was going to address that with the ladies on the show, and particularly when he was engaged to Diamond. It was a big issue of like, when was he going to say it, if he was going to say it. And eventually he did say it, and it was this huge, big outburst, and I feel like they both acted more Diamond. I feel like Carlton is who he is, but definitely on Diamond's part, like she acted really out of character, and it was just more a reaction to Carlton's behavior. But yeah, for me, some people were like arguing that, oh, Carlton should have said it from the jump, and personally for me, I don't think a bisexual man has to open up about his sexuality when he's dating a woman. Like, he doesn't have to lead with it, because any reason that anyone would want him to lead with that is rooted in homophobia and like biphobia. Because the relations and the connections that somebody has had, because when you're dating someone, it's foolish for you to assume that they're just like a virgin, that they've never had, even if they're like a virgin, everyone has had connections with people, everyone's had a relationship with people that they hold near and dear to your heart. So it's foolish for you to assume that when you're dating someone that they've never had that. There are people who have come before you in their life, and there are people who are going to come after you. All that matters is what's happening in the moment and their relationship with you. All that other shit doesn't matter. Whether they've had connection with men or women, all that matters is their connection with you. The other thing that was brought up was like cheating. Or like, if a bisexual man dates a straight woman, he's going to step out of the relationship and cheat on her with a man. And it's like, those same straight girls worried about, you know, a bisexual man cheating on them with a guy are the same ones getting cheated on by straight guys. It's like, what is the difference, baby? Because whether a guy cheats on you with a man or a woman, yes, the situations are different, but at the end of the day, it's the way it's the same. He still stepped out of the relationship. You know, he broke his commitment to you to go fuck somebody else. You know, to me, cheating is cheating, period. Whether you do it with a guy or you do it with a girl, you've cheated. Next, kind of thing. But to me, Diamond did not seem biphobic at all. To me, her problem seemed that she was upset that Carlton took so long to tell her, and also like the way he told her. He was very defensive. It seemed like he was still very insecure about his sexuality. And I feel like if he had just approached it like an adult, I feel like they could have, you know, ended up being like Lauren and Cameron, and just ended up in a really happy, long-lasting marriage. Because I really love Diamond. Like the black girls on this show, they really did it for the culture, because the way they carry themselves, they really carry themselves with grace and just poise and elegance. I love to see it, because a lot of times black girls on the show, they really get like that villain edit, you know. So I was glad that both black girls on the show were just really upstanding women, and someone better put a diamond on Diamond real quick, because she deserves it. As for Carlton, I don't know if there was necessarily an improvement in him. I think it's more like a Jessica situation, where like he's able to acknowledge that he went about things wrong with Diamond, and that he really did lose a good woman. And again, you know, I do hope that they find their happiness, even if it's not together. And yeah, so moving on to, last but not least, the winners of the show. I know it's not a game show, but I think we can all unanimously agree that they won the show. We been you, they won the show. So of course, the biggest, I guess, like roadblock with their relationship was the fact that Cameron was white. That was something that Lauren kind of struggled with. Cameron never really seemed to bother him. Like, he's dated a black woman before, so you know, it was kind of, he's been in that position before. And one thing I loved about Cameron was that he was really aware, like socially aware. Like with the conversation about children. Like he knew that if he was to have children with Lauren, like yeah, they would be mixed race, they'll be black and white, but he knew that society would view them, you know, as black as me, who has 2 black parents. And the fact that he knew that, because like you have a lot of white people who date black people and they do this whole like, I don't see color type of thing, but it's like, baby, the rest of us in the real world, we see color. And we see every color of the rainbow. So don't play those games in this court, because it's not gonna fly. So that's why I just really love Cameron from the jump. He really seemed like a good guy. And even with his, you know, the topic of like Lauren moving in with him, because he was the one with the house, while Lauren had like a 1-bedroom apartment, so it seemed more logical that Lauren would move in with him. He even made a space in his home for her, and just throughout the show, he really always gave Lauren that reassurance that he was the man for her. And what broke my heart to see was that, you know, Lauren never really gave him the same reassurance back. It always seemed like she was like standing on a ledge. Like, is she gonna fall in love with him? Is she gonna walk away from it? And as much as like it was an honor and a privilege to see their relationship, they really did always keep me on edge. Like I thought Kenny and Kelly had a better chance of being married than Lauren and Cameron, even though we all loved Lauren and Cameron more. It was like right up until the I do's, it was a little bit 50-50. I don't know how it was gonna go. So when they actually did say I do to each other and they were married, I was able to exhale. I was like, because that was a tense moment, and it's just, I'm so obsessed with them. I really do love them. I hear that they may be having a reality show like Hanging with the Hamiltons. I saw on YouTube. I don't know if it's just a YouTube thing or if it's going to be an actual full-blown TV show. I do hope. I don't know, like, one thing I'm happy about is that this show aired like a year and a half after it was filmed. So it's like, it's not like Love Island where they leave the island and it's like, you don't know if the relationships are gonna last. I feel like the fact that they've been married for this long, it puts me more at ease. Like they're quite settled in. So I feel like maybe a reality show could be good for them. They've had their time to just be Lauren and Cameron and just be in each other's space and enjoy being married to each other. And they seem like they want to have kids really soon. But yeah, I'm really happy for them. I love watching them. And yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. All in all, Love is Blind, it was an interesting show. It was a bit boring at times, especially like the timing was really weird. Like there were some moments where things were moving too quickly. It was like they were saying I love you after 3 days. I think that was like, 3 days for us was like 30 minutes or so into the first episode. So like there were times where things were moving at like sonic speed. And there were certain moments where like things felt they were moving quite slow. So I don't know, if they do end up making a second season, I feel like the pacing of the show needs to be sorted out. But like I said, all in all, I think it was a good show. I'm not exactly gunning for a season 2, but if they do, which I feel like they inevitably will, they're most definitely gonna make a season 2 because, you know, Netflix love their money. So yeah, I'll watch it. I'm not exactly hoping and praying for it, but I'll watch it and see what it has to offer. And yeah, that is basically all I have to say on that. If you guys like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Comment down below other videos you'd like to see from me. I hope to film a skincare routine video very soon. I'm not sure if it's going to be the video that comes after this one, but it's definitely in my books to film. So turn on my post notifications and keep an eye out for that. I think I said it already, that my social media links will be down below, my Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all of that. I'll see you guys very shortly in my next video, and bye.